Oh, you couldn't hear yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, you were yelling.
Oh.
I was like, okay.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Rodeo Time, the podcast where we've got the sound.
Oh, my bad. Hold on. There we go.
Rodeo Time, the podcast.
Sorry, it's been a while since we did one. I forgot where all the buttons were.
Yes, our last few were in the Mirage.
Plug.
Vegas.
Yes, it was a plug, but we did 4. We talked to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 NFR Cowboys. There were a lot of gold buckles in there.
Yes.
I think
Almost every single
Casey
one.
had won 4.
Yeah.
Ryder had won a couple.
Yeah.
Stetson had won a few. A lot of gold buckles stepped into the Rodeo Time podcast. And you guys have seen them. You guys have seen them. The last 4 episodes prior to this were, at the Mirage. That was fun. So we're gonna have to do that next year. Maybe it means they'll give me a bigger suite.
Ooh,
That would be cool. I've always wanted to see what those rooms are like up top.
Sorry, I thought it was gonna be silent. We've got a young lady on the podcast. And that's why I had to apologize as I did that. Blythe Eep hails from Nebraska, aka
Good to be
Beep
here.
Beep. Her name is also Beep Beep, not Nebraska's name is also Beep Beep. Donnie Ray Daytona comes all the way from Missouri. Misery, as some people call it. Do you call it misery?
No. I
You like it. You like it there?
I like
Caving.
Texas too, though.
Yep. And then also Carlos de la Cruz. He's the new man, and we're going to hear his backstory, a little bit of it, where he comes from, and he's a bull rider, old son. But before we hear that story and more stories about being an intern at Radiator Ranch, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Oh, man. Where do we start? Where do we begin? Let's start with the first one, and that is Rock and Roll Denim. They keep our legs clothed, and boy, do they do a good job at it. American hats, which is the cowboy hats that we wear. Then Can-Am, side-by-side, Defenders, off-road, and Feed Buggy Corporate, as I like to call it. And then Total Feeds.
That's what you eat every morning.
I literally eat Total Equine.
Yep.
With milk in my cereal, as well as Excalibur containers. It's what a couple of the interns, it's what these 2 interns live in. We'd like to thank them for housing the interns. So now on to an energy drink for your ears, the Rodeo Time podcast, number 88.
We are rolling.
Is this video sponsored by Ruffles?
Oh, we are?
Yep.
No, it won't be.
Besides Total Feeds, are you sponsored by any other food?
You
Food.
don't think you would know that by now?
I don't know.
You don't know who my sponsors are?
No.
You've been here
Oh,
for like
man.
6 months.
Am I going to get quizzed on it?
Yes. Well, who are my sponsors?
Total Feeds.
Bingo.
Can-Am.
Yes.
American Hats.
Mm-hmm.
Rock and Roll.
Mm-hmm.
Could I phone a friend?
Sorry, everyone. I'm not going to do that anymore. No, you can't. That's it. Well, Excalibur containers.
Oh. I live in one, so does he.
That's funny that you. Yeah. So is Carlos de la Cruz, right?
De la Cruz, yes, sir.
Yeah. Are you related to Caesar?
No,
Caesar de la Cruz?
No.
The team roper? Do you know who I'm talking about?
no, I don't.
You know, you don't know the he's like, I think he was a healer,
I don't know.
and I believe he's missing a finger. He was on, I met him a long time ago. Anyways, cool to cat.
I was almost missing a finger once.
Yep.
What happened?
Blue boy about tore it off.
He was trying to tie or untie a bowling.
I was tying a bowling. I was feeding the line through that loop,
Mm-hmm.
and he sat back. Loop got tight around my finger.
Yeah.
Dang.
So this was recent, or
2 years ago. Probably. April will be 2 years, I guess.
Yeah, so we got a new guy on the team. We actually got a couple new guys. The other new guy is out, but you are the most recent new guy who's not been yet on a podcast. So, Carlos.
Hold on 1 second. All right, continue. I don't know why those are off. Or
Do we need to start over?
it's been recording our sound. I can see it. Recording our sound.
Okay.
But maybe. Let's just start over to be safe. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And we're here, and we just started. We think we did. We just got going on. Sorry, we'll start over again.
Okay.
Third start. I got a picture of a baby from a friend. And welcome. We're here. The podcast. Here we go. Carlos de la Cruz. He is one of our newest interns, straight out of Georgia, the Sunshine State.
That's Florida.
The
Peach.
Peach State. Yeah, I knew that.
Close.
Yeah. So, what brings you to Texas?
I don't know. Just wanted to fold some shirts, I guess.
How many videos had you sent prior to the one that got you in, or were there
I've
multiple?
sent a few.
You have?
We've spoken before.
We have?
Around my birthday, around February, you were like, "Happy birthday!" And I was like, "How do you know my birthday?" And then,
In the text.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you were talking about something, and I was like, "Why would you know my birthday?" And then I don't know. You said we had mutual friends, but I just left it at that.
But I'm saying, have we spoken about the internship?
No.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think we had.
No, we haven't.
Yeah. I be knowing your birthday. I be knowing that. But I just, because you've been following me a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, so a lot of guys had sent multiple videos to become an intern, but you just sent the one, and it happened fast.
Yeah, I just came here. Y'all left, and I stayed.
No, I'm talking about the going back to you getting selected. So you sent in a video. You may not know that it was fast because you've only applied one time, but like there's some people, for instance, Gabe, I think he might have sent in a video for like a year and a half. He sent like 4 or 5 videos in. Willie sent in a few.
He sent in a few.
Yeah, I sent.
Because he sent one to me like a long time ago.
Okay, well that's what I'm talking about, Carlos.
I said yes.
He did say yes.
Did he?
I think something got lost in translation.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, forget about the videos.
I'll try to mediate here.
Forget about the videos. Whatever. The point is, well, in the video, you seemed very respectful. How old are you?
26.
And you were working at CNC.
Yes, sir. At Fox Factory.
Which is what Fox, like the exhaust pipes.
No.
No, Fox is like the little dirt bike brand. That's what they're known for.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They're like shocks and stuff. I don't think they do exhaust pipes.
They don't do aftermarket like exhaust?
They might. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I could have sworn that it was also like maybe somebody just had a sticker like
Right.
on the cover of an exhaust, whatever. Pretty dang close.
Yeah.
Okay, they do the shocks, not the exhaust.
I don't know
on
if
a
they do
dirt
shocks
bike.
even, but
That's
like,
not that far away.
Yeah.
They're literally like this close.
Hey
you know?
man,
But an exhaust.
It's not like I was saying they're doing like shoes on horses, you know. Like, I'm in the vicinity. We're on the dirt bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they do parts for a dirt bike to be, you know, a
Right.
little more broad.
And it just so happened that at this factory, we were working on the new Raptor.
Do they do
shocks.
exhaust? No, you don't. They do shocks. You were way off,
that's
Hale.
not what I said.
You dumb.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, continue.
That at this factory, we were making the factory shocks for the new Raptors.
Okay, shocks.
It wasn't just dirt bikes. We were making suspension parts for the new Ford Raptors.
Yep. And you had a little bit more like deeper involvement in like the construction of them. It wasn't just like you're out there with a hammer banging on some
Right.
metal.
Right.
You were like messing with computers and getting a little more involved in design.
Not design specifically. A design would come in, we would set it up on a machine and it would automate it, and then
Gotcha.
someone else would run the machine.
Which is what inspired me to get you a little more started into a job here with Rodeo Time that involved computers and a little more administrative type stuff, because you seemed you worked with a computer and you got a degree from Georgia Tech.
No, I got my associates from Georgia State, and then my bachelor's from University of North Georgia.
Oh, did I offend you when I just said Georgia Tech?
No. It might have offended the Georgia Tech people because they're like super smart.
Gotcha. Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And that's where I thought you went to school.
Those are our neighbors,
So
actually.
now I just found out you didn't go to the super smart school. Gotcha. Interesting.
You
No,
also,
I'm just kidding.
You also worked with horses like
Oh, yes.
a lot.
Starting horses,
Yeah.
finishing them,
And you're a
Technical.
bull rider.
and I ride bulls.
How many bulls do you think you've been on by now?
Oh, man. I don't know. Less than 80.
Oh, really? Less than 80?
Yeah, I haven't hit 100. For sure, haven't hit 100.
You ride really good for less than 80.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought you were going to say like 180.
No. I haven't hit 100.
Nice. So you went to a Sankey school. Was that your first experience on a bull?
Yeah, that was my first, let's see if I like it deal.
Okay.
Right.
Which is normally, that they get a lot of that
Yeah.
at the Sankey schools. We're talking about
Hey, can you bring your mic up just a hair?
Sankey, Lyle Sankey. It's where my old man was a teacher there since before I was born. And so I was running around him. Lyle's been putting on schools for maybe 40 years by now. Well over that, because I can remember my old man saying he went to one when I can't remember when, long time, but he puts on used to be like 35 a year, and they would be all over the country. And what's unique about Lyle's schools? Well, it's just rough stock, number one, bears, broncs, bulls, and bullfighting, but he would bring a trailer and bring equipment. So if you didn't have equipment, you could use his. Which makes sense. If you're getting started, you probably don't have equipment, and if you go to a rodeo school, you would need it. If you go to a basketball camp, bring some tennis shoes. That's it. But if you're getting on a bull or a bronc, you need a horse. I mean, not a horse. You do need a horse, but they would provide that. You need a bronc saddle. You need a bull rope. You need a bareback rigging, etc. So that's what's kind of unique about that school. And Lyle's one of the 4 rodeo cowboys that's been to the NFR in all 3 rough stock events. Bareback, saddle bronc, and bull riding. It's Lyle Sankey, Larry Mahan, Jim Shoulders, and Ty Murray. They're the only 4. So enough of that. Plug. Whatever. Non-paid, by the way.
We're not sponsored by them?
We might as well be.
No,
Yeah.
no. What's his
Which
name?
one?
Samantha's dad.
Phil Line.
Yeah.
He went, I think, it was one horse riding event, bull riding, and a timed event,
I got you.
I believe. I don't think he went in all 3 rough
I
stock
gotcha.
events. So he was battling it out with
Larry Mahan.
Larry Mahan.
Yeah.
You know, they were going for the all-round head-to-head, and that was a really intense battle at the time, documented in the Great American Cowboy, I believe is what it's called. Really cool documentary, old-school rodeo footage. A lot of rodeo history there. But, yeah, Phil Line, bull riding, I know. I want to say bronc riding. I want to say bull riding, bronc riding, and then calf roping, I believe. So that's but I'm not as familiar with that, but. So anyways, you go to a Sankey school, and then what? What in Georgia, where are you getting on bulls there?
So Georgia has Elberton. We have Justin Knight. We buck bulls there. And then we also had a guy named Clay Taylor who would buck with Justin. But something happened and Clay ended up leaving, so I ended up having to practice in South Carolina. So I would drive the 2 hours. It would turn out that sometimes my practices would be these SRA rodeos,
Yep.
Some of my practice bulls were those big bulls. And I guess that's where it kind of turned into, do you really want this? Because every day is a chance. Every time you get on is a chance to die,
Yep.
And you're just learning at that point, Under 50, you're still getting hurt. You're still trying to see if you're gonna fall, but you don't even know the right moves by that point. You can't even remember opening the latch.
Yes, sir.
And then you just stick it out. Stuck out the 2 hour drive, and went from there.
It's neat that you were mature enough to see all that. You said you'd been under 50, and you had to figure out. And that's a tough position to be in as a young bull rider in a spot where there's not a lot of bull riding, because that's what you got to do. You go to the rodeos, you go to the bull ridings so that you can get on bulls. Well, you're riding competitive bulls and you're riding against competitive bull riders. And the problem with that is like kind of like we talked about in the Tilden and Casey podcast. Like all of a sudden now you're getting, dashboarded and slammed and they're scattering your chickens out there.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're doing, but you're getting on 22-point buckers because every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a 22-point bucker these days, a pin of them.
And guys are putting them on you to test them out too.
Yeah.
And
they don't care about your future, which whatever. But the point is like there's not a spot for you to progress and grow. And so you find yourself having these little bitty successes on some ranked stuff occasionally, but it just messes with your confidence.
Yeah.
So, and there's people that make it like that. People get on ranked stock and they make it. I'm not saying you can't make it, but I am saying that like I feel like there's a lot of people that if given the chance to like climb the ladder a little slower, they might make it. And so, you seem like the kind of guy that's like resilient and you were going to make it regardless. I think Willie is. But the problem with that is you're the kind of guy that's going to make it. You're the kind of guy that doesn't mind getting bucked off. But you touched on it. You could also get really hurt. That's something you may not have a lot of control over, and that's something that could set you back. You get really hurt on your 43rd bull. You're out for 6 months, and then you start all over. It's like you've been on none. So, like, that's the problem. It's not necessarily about, like, just overcoming the mental defeat. It's also about staying physically healthy. So that's why here at Winnebago, like one kid, I was so pumped. I posted that video of you getting on Tony, and it was our first trip out of a right-hand delivery, and he was just around to the right and a little bit smidge under what we would call a duck. He's a duck for a practice pin. And perfect. So I posted the video, and some 14-year-old steer rider was like, he doesn't look rank. And I was just like, because I was like, new bull, new intern, and I was excited about it because if anybody knows anything about bull riding, if you've been on under 80, that is the perfect practice bull.
Yeah, he was smooth.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got Frostbite that's got a little more kick. We've got a couple bulls got a little more kick, but then that bull is just going to around to the right, like you said, smooth, and you feel good. You get to feel what it's like for a bull to go away from your hand, and now all of a sudden, like you got this huge mental win. Then you were hungry. Then you wanted to get on something else.
Yeah,
That's where now all of a sudden you're becoming a bull rider. You know what I'm saying? You got to work your way up that ladder. So,
because Casey, I remember in the podcast, he was like, yeah, I kept on getting the same horse. Was it Casey or was it Casey? The same horse that did the same thing and like waited for me to scoot back on. And even Dawson was talking about like just in bronc riding, how he like had to work his way up. Like his schools, they don't start with the craziest thing.
Right.
But,
yeah, the rankest horse.
Yeah.
Which is why we put you, Blythe, on our bull named Carlos, the Man of Love.
Not that Carlos.
Yeah. Carlos, the Man of Love. Yeah, that's why I was very specific. The bull named Carlos. How was that compared to what you thought it would be?
It was fun. I kind of didn't really like think about what I was doing. I just got on because, and just didn't think technical at all. It was just my first 2 rides, got on. Wasn't like, I didn't hold on with my legs at all. It was just probably the mental thing of like getting on.
All that preparation was just out the window.
Yeah,
it usually
gone.
is.
It's gone.
That's how it is for everyone.
Yep, you black out.
No, but Carson's first ride, he was really good.
Yeah, occasionally, I'm not sure what it is about different people that have this awake mindset on their first couple, but occasionally it happens.
Yeah.
But some people, like, your adrenaline takes over in a way that you kind of black out the first few jumps.
Because I was like, I was thinking about everything else but like doing it right. I was thinking about, well, I mean, I don't have kids to look after. I mean, I'm 21. My body's pretty healthy. Yeah. I wasn't thinking about like, oh, we better like actually think about like what this bull is going to do, anticipate. I was thinking about like how I'm gonna fall off.
Yeah.
More than like how I'm gonna like ride him if I even try to ride him.
Yeah. So you came off pretty quick, and then you got on
I just
another
slipped off.
one.
Yeah, because I was like, and then I keep watching that video, those 2 videos, and just getting like upset. Like, I could have done that so better, but yeah, I need to wait. So.
Yeah. So, did you get any backlash from the family?
A couple people think I'm crazy.
Right.
Yeah, my parents probably think I'm crazy.
Probably. They might have thought you were crazy before that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love mom and dad.
I mean, they just want what's best for you.
Yeah, and they know that like you're not gonna put me on somebody.
Yeah, that's
like,
the other thing. You didn't get on JB's 3-year-old.
Yeah, he would have.
Dude.
That recently knocked out our man over here.
Yeah.
What did that bull feel like?
Oh, he was juicy.
Yeah.
He didn't feel super tough, but he definitely surprised me.
Everything was a notch up. So he was faster. He was stronger. He kicked higher.
Yeah.
You know, everything was a notch up about that bull. So he is, I would say, rider friendly.
Yeah,
No, he's not. I think he's more rider friendly, like proportionate to, you know, like the Carlos Man of Love, especially that second trip. You can tell like he just wants you off of his back, and he's gonna like dart around to get you off of his back.
Especially since I fell off really quickly the first time. He's like, okay.
And he's
This time too.
he's so small that like he just kind of and he's out from underneath you. But that bull, that 3-year-old, that big bull, he's what do y'all call him? Is it
Little Don.
Little Don? Little Don.
That's Willie.
He's bred to buck, and he's gonna have a trip that. But that's a neat. I like that he's back there. I like that he's there, and then like we can run something in that'll get everybody a little on their toes.
Yeah.
You know, even the bullfighters. So, but Tony, that would be that bull. That's something you would want to get on if you did.
Oh yeah, if I was ever gonna get on one again.
Yeah.
I don't know if, how I'd do,
Yeah.
but
Would you ever get on one again?
it'd have to be out of my own,
Yeah.
just cause probably not.
Yeah.
There's- The thing is, like, every time you can get on one, I was never really that good at riding them. Like, if I would have been good at riding them, maybe, just cause to have fun. But I'm trying to ride broncs and stuff. It's just like not a really smart risk to take because you can get hurt doing both.
Yep.
But if you got to do what fits your goals. My goals is not
Yeah.
to ride bulls.
100%. Yeah, like how does this play? How does this help my goals? And if it doesn't, then do
Yeah.
I need to do it? Yeah.
But if someone was like, "I bet you $500 you won't do it," yeah, absolutely. Or it wouldn't
If
even
it's a
have,
bull like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
If it's a bull like that. So mine's kind of what you're talking about is similar to like what I've got with the bareback riding.
yeah,
There might be a circumstance where like a certain hopper, if there's a moment where somebody could talk me into it or pay me enough money, maybe, but probably not ever again. And if
Yeah.
I don't, I'm cool with that. So that's how I feel about bareback. That's how he feels about bull riding. But had you ever considered getting on broncs since you?
No, seeing at the Live school, that kind of just shut it out for me
Yeah.
because those kids were getting wrecked.
in the bareback riding,
Yeah,
or in the actual bronc riding.
well, both because
Oh,
there's only
damn.
like two for each, so they run them together.
Yeah,
They're getting.
I would
wrecked,
not
man.
like to be there seeing kids getting on their first bareback horses.
Or broncs.
I kind of did.
Broncs, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've never seen anybody else get on their first one, but
The problem is it's super difficult to find bulls or broncs, like for instance Baptist
yeah,
with a loose flank. They're just not out there.
yeah,
You're gonna see a kid get on something like brisket or like those. Every now and then you're gonna see him get on those horses like what we had, the 3 from Stace.
yeah. I think there was a kid that got on his first one out in California.
Or can you imagine the colt bucking at Stace's?
Yeah.
Somebody getting on their first one there.
No.
And the bronc riding I'm talking about.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
I mean, you can if you want to. I'm not telling
Yeah.
you not to go, but
100%. Yeah, that's but
those horses bucked, man.
yeah, and that's why it's easy for me to discourage it.
Yeah.
If I can talk you out of it, then you weren't going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Or you then maybe you weren't. I don't know. Like, I mean, you guys, like, I don't push people to do it. You know, like, you got to want to do it.
Yeah.
But that's what's unique about the group of bull riders we have. Like, all you guys are pretty adamant. So I was talking about that with, anyways, I better not bring that up. But essentially, like, it's just a friend of ours who's got a guy working for him, and he's just not about it. And when you're in this industry, specifically the rough stock end of the arena, you got to be about it.
Yeah.
Got to be really passionate about it, or else, like, there's no chance that anybody's getting on it.
You don't want to kind of ride bulls.
No.
You don't want to kind of. You don't want to kind of fight bulls. You don't want to kind of ride broncs or bears. So I'm not going to ask you to kind of do something.
No.
You know?
Yeah, you can't kind of die.
Yeah.
Talking from experience?
Yeah.
I know. I woke up. That was a good one. That was a good little hit on the head.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to limit those.
What were you thinking when you were, like, on him? Because did you try to, like...
No, I mean, I wasn't going to let go. I thought I was going to hit his head, pop up, and sit up straight. That's what I was hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
Take the hit. Pop
Oh,
up
yeah.
straight.
Maybe it'll set me back up. That's a bull rider.
Hell yeah.
That's a bull rider.
That's what I was hoping for.
You were meant to ride bulls. If you literally thought maybe this bull hitting me in the head will sit me back up, then you're in the right profession. My man.
JB,
That's cool.
JB would have liked that answer.
That's a cool answer.
I've never
That's what I saw in my head. And then I saw the joke.
Yep.
Dang.
Yep. Yeah, you're.
And then all I
Nobody
remember-
can tell you don't want it. If that's what went through your head when you're going down to hit, maybe he'll sit me back up. Yeah, that's wild. Carlos got here at a unique time. Was it 3 days before we left for the NFR?
I think 2 days.
We've got a total of 9 interns and 9 people that came here and started as interns. Like, Donnie's not an intern anymore. You know, he's been here 2.5 years. He would be the OG of the 9. You know, he's an employee, which right now Cole is the only one that's not necessarily. You all right over there?
No, it's fun.
I'm not crying. You're crying. Cole is not on payroll yet. So essentially 8 of those 9 quote unquote interns are on payroll, meaning like they're employees, but they came here on the intern program. So it's just easier to refer to them as such. And we had 3 booths in Vegas at the NFR. Great time. And we took 8 of those 9 interns to Vegas because Carlos, we just kind of had we actually even had one alternate. Like you were kind of, because Mandalay was so slow.
Mm-hmm.
Mandalay booth was slow. So we had Blythe and Donnie coming over in the mornings. We were doing podcasts at the Mirage.
It was fun.
Shout out. And yeah.
Yeah. It was fun. Vegas was fun. But what did you do like while you were here?
So so anyways, Carlos arrives 2 days before we go to the NFR. But I had nobody here to feed. So Carlos like got to hold down the fort, feed for us, and he got to work with he had to work in the warehouse. It was cold a little bit, so that probably didn't suck to be inside those cold days. But you were with the Graham crew. It probably got lonely.
Nah, it was all right. I mean, Leroy kept me company.
Yeah.
And then it was a bunch of learning. Like, how to back up the hay trailer.
It's a hard trailer to back. Are you talking about the forks?
The forks.
Yeah.
I just roll it to where I want it and then bring the truck over there.
Yeah, because we knew Leroy was going to leave eventually, right? So we focused on learning that because it would have been bad if I didn't know how on my own.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you did a good job. And then Leroy left and felt comfortable with you staying here to feed. So, and then you went home. What do you think so far? The whole intern experience?
I like it, man. I mean, we got the perfect style of bulls to learn and to get better. There's rodeo around us. I mean, it's Texas.
Lots of rodeo.
Lots of rodeo amateur stuff.
And you throw a dart at the map and hit a rodeo.
Yep.
And, we're getting paid. Like, who wouldn't do this?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty perfect scenario for someone like yourself, for someone like Donnie, Blythe, like you're interested in this industry. Like I think it is, you know. I can see how if somebody came here and decided they didn't want to ride bulls or broncs, or they weren't, you know, then all of a sudden it's like, it's not so perfect, you know, but that's anywhere you go. So yeah, come spring, well, like really you could go to some rodeos now.
Yeah.
Like even stockyards is every weekend, and we're 2 hours from there, less than 2 hours from the stockyards. So like if you really wanted to just enter up, but I don't know the point at which each of you are at. I'm kind of thinking we wait till the spring. We keep getting on practice, especially this warm weather we're having. If this warm weather is going to let us practice, we need to keep practicing, and then we'll go to them come spring and summertime. That's when we need to get Willie in his first rodeo. We need to get, I don't know, Kevin's been in some. Kevin was like you. Kevin had to, you know, just kind of go where he was, like go to rodeos to get on bulls. But, yeah, we got to make a trip to go pick up broncs soon. Got a couple broncs.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Soon coming? That'll be fun.
3 total. I'm going to get 2 from a church. I'm going to buy 1 from a bareback rider.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I might swap brisket for one of the 2. So we would have 4 total broncs.
That's a lot.
Yeah. They're all kind of pretty perfect, I think. So we'll see. But rodeo time, man. It's the beaches of Winnebago. You can't be short of stock.
I know.
That's a bad feeling whenever you got like people around that are hungry. And I don't mind. I do not mind. I mean, like, that's why y'all are here. So I don't mind pouring the feed to an extra bronc, an extra bull or 2 when everybody is craving it and we buck them. And people are like, when people are asking, can we buck this bull a second time because we've got on everything else? When we are borderline about to load one of the yearlings to practice on, like, I don't mind that. Like, man, let's get another bull or 2 in here, get some feet, because that's why you guys are here and you all work hard. And none of you are kind of doing it. It's different for you, Blythe, because you're learning whether or not you want to do it. That's different.
I'm learning kind of everything.
If you're trying something, now there'll come a point where you get on. If you've been on 33 head and you're still, then that's when, you know, it's like, hey, we're not doing this anymore, you know. But if you've been on 1 or 2 and you want to get on 1 more to figure out if it's something you like, kind of like the school thing you were talking about. So,
yeah. Have you ever loaded a yearling?
No, because these are all pretty straight.
Yeah.
So I think they'd be fine. But they, you don't want them to get sick before they go to the sale barn and, you know, stressing them like that.
We bucked that Brimer looking calf, that bull calf we had at Guacamole a while back. Remember he's kind of hooky?
No.
Fighting cow?
No, he was real Brimer looking. I don't know what bull he was.
Was it a while back, and I still maybe had that. He was out.
He might have been out of Walter.
But
Walter wasn't here when I got here. It was one of the first calf crops that I had ever seen.
Maybe it was out of Walter. We had got rid of Walter, and then yeah, I could see that. I forgot all about it.
He's kind of hooky.
Yeah.
But I got on him.
I do.
I'm not trying to be like, hey, I did this. I was like, we did buck one time. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I do plan on going to the sale barn soon. So. The way Christmas and New Year's Day fell, like they haven't, the next one's not going to be till January 3rd. And I don't know that I'm going to pick up a bull that day.
Yeah.
Just because we're going to turn around and go to Music Fest a couple days later. So, but maybe when I get back in January, I plan on grabbing a few sale barn bulls to try out.
Yeah.
For y'all to try out. Because it would be nice to have one more Frostbite. I'd almost like to swap out Frostbite.
Because he's big?
Well, he's just, I don't know.
A little more kick?
Yeah, and man, we've just really wore him out. Yeah. Like if it's, he's a little big, And if he had the perfect trip and he was big, that'd be different. But his trip is just a little long. He covers a little too much ground. And he's also big. So, like, these guys getting started. That's why we're not putting Blythe on him, because he's so big. It's like
Dale wouldn't let me.
His long trip, if he steps on her, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
You know?
It's too bad.
Whereas Carlos, you can still get hurt on Carlos.
Yeah.
But it's not going to hurt as bad if he steps on your calf.
Yeah.
You know, like Gabe got stepped on by frostbite, and that sucker's sore.
Yeah.
Gabe is sore.
Or like that hit you took to the head.
Yeah.
I just got.
That would have hurt.
He kind of grazed you.
But if he
But
would
it
have been
wasn't- I
heavier.
But he's like a big roping steer, so
Yeah.
you didn't even notice it at the time.
Yeah.
Frostbite, it would have
Adrenaline.
hurt. Right. So
Rick was
I'm
big.
so frustrated with myself
About what?
for missing out on that dang bull that I took the video of, that guy had tied in his trailer.
Oh, yeah.
When we already went there, when we were.
So
at the
I'm there Sunday. I see this bull arrive. The guy had like a half top trailer, and so he had this bull tied in there with a ratchet strap, a rope around his horns, 2 ropes around his back. It was hilarious. And the guy knew it was hilarious. He was a great sport. He and I were talking, and super sweet guy, whatever, older man. And they unload the bull, and all these guys are giving it. It looks like a Dale Brisby rig, whatever. And then the next day is when JB and I go in there and we're buying those calves. That same bull comes in the ring. I'm like, oh, that's that bull. I'm looking for a bull to buck at the house as a practice bull. And I'm like, oh, that's that bull. Okay, well, let's get him out of the arena so I can find a bull that's exactly like him that we can maybe buck. He goes out of the arena, and somebody buys him. JB's like, man, that'd have been a good one for y'all to practice on. I was like, what an idiot. I just had so much on my mind. It just didn't even, like, he was right in front of me. Like, the reason I'm there is to buy you guys a practice bull. And this bull goes, anyways.
We were all there.
Yep.
But we weren't focused.
So that's one thing that we've done recently with you interns is a couple of fields. We went to the sale barn. We went to Craig Cameron's, got some riding lessons from Craig.
That was cool.
Someone's riding better.
Do what?
Someone's riding better.
Blythe?
Yeah.
Blythe is riding a lot better.
Yeah.
I'd been on a horse like 3 times before I went to Craig Cameron's, and then I was like, I've never like really like loped on a horse. And Craig was like, okay, let's go. And I was like, I just didn't know what I was doing, so I want to get on, at least I want to get on Boone like every day. If that's
yeah,
cool.
absolutely. She got on, well, Sunday it's supposed to be 17 degrees, so you might skip that day. For your sake.
And we might take a
Boone would enjoy it, getting
Boone would
warmed up.
Let's go.
You know,
I'm
but
ready.
you might not.
You just look like a completely different person from last week. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
did you?
crazy.
Were you over there last night?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, you saw her yesterday. Yeah, because I saw her too. I had to take off and go grab some food, but yeah, you yesterday is when I noticed it. I was like, man, she's turned to flip. It's just
It's fun.
same thing I told you this last night, but I told Nick, you know, when he was here, and he was only here for 2 months, but like riding horses, a lot like anything in life, bull riding, etc. Like you can't read about it. You can't take a, course at a college and watch videos on it and then come away from it and just know how to do it. You just can't. Like you can take a 12-hour course on how to edit a video and pretty much know how to edit videos. And then, it might take you a while to become an artist at it, like Donnie is. But it's not that way with riding horses. Like that's why you see a big difference in someone that just started and someone that's been doing it since they were a kid. That's why that person doing it as a kid would have an advantage. So I told Nick, I was like, because he's like, I want to be a cowboy, and that's why I came here. He figured out real quick. He didn't want to be a bull rider. He wanted to be a cowboy. And I said, you need to wear as much leather off the tree as possible. And what that means is, a saddle is made up of a tree, which is wood. That's, kind of the foundation. And then the leather is wrapped around it. And imagine sitting in that same saddle 3, 4, 5 hours a day for 10 years. Well, you're going to wear through that leather. So that's where that saying comes from. It's out of a Chris Ledoux song. And so that's what Nick tried to do while he was here. And that's what was my advice to Blythe, because Nick also turned to flip. He came here looking like a beginner and left here looking a little bit less like a beginner. You know, there's only so much you can do in 2 months. So it's been about a year since he's been here. He called me yesterday and wants to go work in a feedlot in Kansas. And he was asking if that was a good next step. And I said, absolutely.
What has he been doing since? Or just
He's been in school. He'll be
college?
done. Yeah.
So he was interning like an actual
Nacogdoches.
intern.
I think he just came.
No, it was kind of, everything kind of shut down that summer.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't go to school that fall. And it was the fall that nobody went to school.
Yeah.
So so he came here during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was going back in the spring. Or no.
He
It was
went
in the
to
summer.
work for somebody.
It was in something like that.
It was right before we filmed Netflix because he was actually filmed that first week with us. He was supposed to be in the show.
Yeah.
And then it ended up getting cut, whatever. But he went to work for somebody that had bulls and that had cows as well.
Was it Roy Carter?
Sounds right. Roy sounds right.
I can't remember.
So he wasn't
somebody down there.
Somebody in East Texas somewhere.
He worked there for a while, and then he worked at a ranch. This summer, I think he went back home and worked at a ranch somewhere around Prosper. Worked apprenticed for a farrier.
Yeah.
Has been doing that a lot.
He wasn't into rodeo events.
He had been on 20 bulls.
Okay.
When he came
But as
here.
far as his experience in the Western industry, I think that's about it.
He had none.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's worked at 5-6 different ranches part-time, interned here. And then now he's going to go to, potentially, he's thinking about it, go to work at a feedlot in Kansas, which I told him was a great next step. You know, kind of monotonous feedlot jobs are, but for someone new to the industry that's wanting to learn, really good place to just learn cattle, their health, their behavior, and how the feedlot phase works. There's 3 phases: cow, calf, stocker, and then feedlot. And so it's a pretty important phase in feeding America.
Mm-hmm. It was cool though.
No, go ahead.
It was cool, like going to that ranch last week.
Yeah,
and,
so that was the
seeing-
third. Going back to where this conversation started, the third we went to Craig's.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the sale barn just for about a half day, and then we went to the R.A. Brown Ranch. And so since they've got so many bulls that they sell each year, they've got it's kind of a little feedlot set up where they'll feed those bulls. So
Field trip. It was
yeah,
fun.
and that was thorough.
Yeah, I liked it
Thorough.
a lot. It was
Yeah.
cool.
I felt like I was back in school in college.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We would take field trips like that, and some of them weren't even that good.
yeah,
Yeah, like as good as
Mhm.
we got.
100%. And
Sure.
there's a couple of programs. TCU Ranch Management, they do it's like 2 semesters, but it's the equivalent of taking like 26 or 7 hours per semester. Very intense. So it's like you come out of it like a 50 plus hours worth of like that in 1 year is what it would be like
That's
doing.
crazy.
Like interning here, you get a lot of experience.
And so that TCU Ranch Management deal, what they do is maybe 2 or 3 weeks per semester, they take field trips and they'll go, I think they go to King Ranch. They'll do a South Texas trip and they'll see all kinds of operations. My old man went through it. And so that's where that idea came from. And it's something that I want to build on. So I've got a couple ideas on where we're going next. So, but
Yeah.
they're a little more local. Well, Throckmorton's pretty local. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
If you're someone, I could see someone, for instance, like a Nick, who is dead set on going into this profession. They could go there, and it's going to give them a pretty good idea of like where they may want to go next. So, had Nick been here when we went to R.A. Brown, we got to see their ranch and set up, but we really got to see their feed program. So that might, reveal to him what it would be like to work in a feedlot. So he might get either super excited and want to go do it, or he may decide not to, which is just as valuable. Knowing what you don't want to do is just as valuable as knowing what you do want to do.
Carlos wants to ride bulls.
Is there anything you know that you don't want to do?
I don't want to work at a warehouse. Just kidding.
I was gonna say, I was like, dang.
No, but warehouse in the sense of manufacturing. You know what I mean?
Assembly line.
Assembly line. There you go.
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever go back to that.
Like a factory.
Well, one of the reasons that we're kind of trying to transition you into this new position is you had said you had hoped that at your old job you were going to move into more of a sales type position, something where you were going to be dealing with people.
Right.
This job that you're going into now, you're not necessarily dealing with people, but it is a little bit, you're going to work on graphic design, which is something you're also passionate about.
Yes, sir.
So definitely not an assembly line, but is still a lot indoors.
I don't mind the indoors. I just don't want to be a button pusher.
Right.
I don't want to.
Dude.
Got some experience?
Yes. I won't interrupt, but I got a story for later about pushing buttons. So I did an internship at they had a couple stores, but they also had an ag department, like a grain elevator and a seed house, they called it. And I worked in a feed mill at this grain elevator for the most part. And one day the guy that oversaw my internship came and got me from the feed mill. I was like, hey, I want you to also see this part of what we do here. So I walk with him down to the seed house is what they called it, and where they were down there, they were packaging deer corn, just filling up a bag, put it on a conveyor belt, and then it goes to a self stacker, and then it goes. A guy would bring it from the self stacker with a forklift and set it on this wrapper, like it would just spun around and wrapped it with the.
Wrap the whole pallet?
Yeah, wrap the whole pallet. And so the guy takes me down there. He's like, all right, I just want you to stand here and press this button so this guy doesn't have to get off the forklift, and it'll wrap it. And just put a tally mark every time. I stood there for like a little bit and wrapped like 4 or 5 of them. I was like, I'm not doing this. I was like, I'm going back up to the female where I can do stuff. Like,
yeah.
I'm not going to do mindless stuff. They never said anything to me, but I was fully prepared to have a battle about that. But I was going to tell them, I'm like, look, I'm not your guy for that. I'm not going to sit there and press a button.
They never said anything to you about you going back?
Yeah. Just walking out and going back to the female. But I thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, especially like just because the guy doesn't want to get off the forklift.
Well, I don't even know that it was like he said he didn't. Like he was just, but he told me, he's like, I want you to learn about this down here. I was like, I'm not learning anything by pressing a button.
Right.
Like this is not cool. But
yeah, well, it's funny that you say that, because the next thing I was about to say to Carlos was, if we go down that road and you find out that it is too similar to quote unquote button pushing, then you just tell me. And then like, okay, maybe there's something different that we find for you. And then eventually maybe it's like, man, there's not anything here, if you were to say that. And if you needed to go on your way, then we could part as friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that simple. You just, I don't know, especially in that, what I would like, it's good that Donnie was mature enough to see, hey, real quick, hey, I don't want to do this, and then you just laugh. Rather than, because the other thing that happens a lot, you sit there for 4 months, you hate it every moment. When you come in, you nod at your boss and act like you like it, or just stay in the middle of the road, and then all of a sudden you blow up and you're just like, I'm out of here. Maybe catch the place on fire on your way out. Like that's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's like
absolutely.
that's the bad part.
Yeah.
So like, to avoid that, you were mature enough to just say, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing. Whereas it was an internship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like sometimes interns get bottom of the barrel stuff.
Well, what I was doing up in the feed mill was not like romantic work, but it was, mixing ingredients and doing stuff like that, and
something that you could like use your brain.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah, yeah.
I liked it. I liked dealing with like medicine, and like you had to add drugs to some feed and stuff like that, and like learning like what animals couldn't have certain
Right.
I thought that was neat.
What was your degree in? Or
Ag business.
ag business?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I also went to the trucking department for like 2 weeks, and that was not good either.
What'd you do?
I don't know if I'm supposed to be talking about this.
I can edit it out.
Yeah, but I got to this trucking thing, and inside this warehouse, they had this whole room inspecting little glass bottles. And the first thing they do is sit me down in this assembly line of people inspecting these little glass bottles. And I started doing that, and I was like, God.
To make sure they were clean?
What does that have to do with trucking?
Nothing. But this was just at the trucking warehouse. Like, it was a whole different trucking department, like a half hour, 45 minutes down the road that I had to go to for 2 weeks. But luckily, the warehouse guy was super cool there, and we realized real quick that I told him, I was like, man, this isn't really anything to do with my degree or like what I'm interested in. So look, he gave me a lot of little
freedom.
Stuff. Yeah, but he's like, hey man, we really need to spray weeds around like here's a truck, here's like a sprayer tank. I was like, heck yeah, like this. Yeah, like, this is something I can do for you.
Right.
What were you hoping to do when you went there?
For the trucking, nothing. I didn't like maybe if I had to do something down there, like deal with logistics and learn a little bit about that. But it was, I mean, my main focus was ag. And
how many internships have you had? Like
that was the only one. I did that one for credit, like to graduate college.
Yeah.
We've only had one person do that. It was the first.
I was gonna do this one as that, but I kind of found out last minute that I was actually coming. So
yeah,
I'm still working on it, getting college credit this next semester.
Oh, so you might.
Yeah, I've been looking at it.
You should.
Last semester I didn't, so this semester's like I do it online anyway. So
right, yeah, you should. Yeah, Blythe is still going to school. Blythe is going online, so casually taking some classes. But it takes a lot of discipline. Yeah, I took some classes online once. I should say, you'd have to ask my sister.
Oh,
she's the one that
I did that.
Yeah,
college algebra.
Yeah, ugh. She didn't like. I mean, I don't know. One of them, I took speech online. I had to do Zoom like back before Zoom was really Zoom. But no, and that's the whole thing. The reason we do the field trips is because like. Most of the time, a lot of the people that reach out, they're interested in learning about this industry. So we also have some other things that make the wheels go round. In addition to a few cows, we've got this warehouse, and that's where the video comes in. For those of you that are listening that are interested in the internship, real quick, if you text me the word intern to the phone number 940-353-0890, text me the word intern. Periodically, when I do need an intern, I will send a YouTube video. It's 18 minutes long, and it explains what your day-to-day is like. And did you get to watch that?
Yes, sir.
You did? Okay, so you had a pretty good understanding, like, this is what every day looks like. This is what I'm going to be working towards, and then I will get to pursue my dream also. So for you, which is riding bulls. What percentage is riding bulls and also like ranching? Is it like 80-20, or is it just like 100% riding bulls and the rest is just kind of extra?
I think it's 80-20, just because riding bulls might lead to a name. A name can become a brand, and a brand can become a ranch.
Dang.
I like his answers. He's had some good answers today.
That's very... well thought out. Say that again.
Carlos.
I was like, it just left my brain. It's gone. But no, 80-20, bull riding, ranching.
Bull riding can become a name.
Yeah, bull riding can become a name, which would be like a reputation.
A name can become a brand.
And a brand can become a ranch.
There's a lot of wisdom behind that right there. There's a lot. You might have, do you have some entrepreneurial tendencies?
I don't know, maybe.
Here.
It's just
no real talk. Do you have like entrepreneurial type tendencies? Do you like? Do you see yourself maybe one day like owning your own business or selling something?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
They're in Georgia, I guess. Not. They're becoming more real the more I hang out here. But in Georgia, they were just far-fetched ideas. Brainstorming with your buddies.
What's they? What ideas?
the entrepreneurial tendencies.
So, but you've got specific ideas.
Oh yes, sir.
What are they?
Like,
if you want to share them.
Just starting up the brand. Like I have the brand. Blythe has seen it. The 3 Cross, because there's 3 De La Cruzes in my family, and our name's De La Cruz, so of the cross. So that would be, for example, the ranch logo, kind of like where we took the field trip.
Yep.
I like how their logo is also their brand. Like,
yep,
their hot iron. That's what I would do.
It was probably the brand first, and their brand became the logo.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yep.
I don't know.
So what's your brand?
It's a 3, and then the 3 makes a shadow, but the shadow is a cross.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so 3 De La Cruz Ranch.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
So that's the ultimate goal, is to get back home and start a ranch with your brothers.
It might be something for my brothers to fall back on, but it would be more for myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They're not into that whole world.
I see. So it's just it's your deal.
It's my deal, yes, sir.
And you want it to be in Georgia.
Anywhere, actually. I mean,
Really?
yeah.
So you grew up not in like a rodeo family.
No, I'm first generation rodeo, first generation cowboy.
So what made you interested in it?
It was just an itch. And then Lau helped me scratch it. And then Lau, he didn't brainwash me, but he fueled me with confidence. You know, that whole natural talent thing. And I was like, I do have natural talent.
Well, he didn't lie. He's got a good eye for it, because he was right. Like, you got it. Like, if you only been on 80 bulls and you rode Tony and
Right.
you rode Prison Mike, and like, that's, yeah, guys don't typically.
Yeah, because he didn't say it in a nice way either. It wasn't like, hey, you're good. You like grab my face mask, and he was like, you have natural talent. If you're gonna use it, stick to it. And if he wouldn't have done that, I probably would have left the school not wanting to try again. Like,
Really?
yeah, like I got banged up, but somewhere in the back of my mind,
Was he halfway getting on to you about something?
yeah, because I wouldn't run out of the arena. I would just kind of walk out.
That's a pretty important one. Yeah, he doesn't like to see that.
Yeah.
Lyle's pretty adamant about, like, when you get off your bull, to like run out of the arena. And, bullfighters like that too, because then they don't have to save you a second time. They're going to give you one good exit. The good ones, that second exit is on you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They'll probably help you out, but it's like, if they have to get hurt because you're walking out, that's pretty crappy. You know what I mean? Now, there's some bulls you'll see some of these guys casually walk away from, because they might really know the bull and they know where they landed and they don't have to hustle out. But you need to get in the habit of running out, because this rascal's going to be in your shorts. Yeah, that's one thing that there's a few things. Lyle's seen someone die in the arena. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, he's got some things in his procedures that he's very adamant about, for good reason. And he does not discriminate. Like, if you come in there and you are the chosen one, if I were to go in there, like, he's not going to treat anybody different. He's going to say, do or don't do this, this, and this while you're in my arena at my school. And he's got a good point. Like, if you go somewhere to learn something, what's the point in like being adamant about doing it your way while you're there? If you're there to learn, do it the way the teacher is instructing you. That way you can at least try it, especially if it's a teacher you trust, especially if they're in the Rodeo Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? If they've been to the NFR, if they've won a gold buckle, if they won the average at the NFR, et cetera, whatever. Like, try it their way. And so that's what Lyle's adamant about. But that's neat that you had that moment.
Yeah, that's what really.
But if you weren't,
concreted it.
He wouldn't have said it, because he's not going to blow smoke. Because the last thing he would want is, if he knew that you were done, and if he knew that it was just a weekend thing, the last thing he's going to do is tell you to go keep doing what you're doing, because you might get hurt. Well, this isn't tennis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No offense to tennis players. Me?
Nope. Carlos did.
You played tennis?
Yeah, I played tennis.
Well, then you know the difference, don't you?
Yes, sir.
You can casually play tennis. You ain't going to casually get on J.B. Mooney's 3-year-old that's at Dale Brisby's house. because that joker, you still got a little mark on your face.
Yeah, going away.
Yeah.
Do you learn better with like positive or negative encouragement? Like, because he was like,
I enjoy constructive criticism, but
Yeah.
I can do both. I don't shy away from either.
What have you learned that works better, positive or negative? Not negative, but like more stern, or like just.
It's hard for me to be stern. It's hard for me to be stern. Sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm stern. I'm stern like in the arena sometimes.
Yeah.
There's a few things, like there's a few, like I might yell at somebody. There's some coachable times where like I've yelled at people to get out of the arena. I've yelled at kids to get out of the chutes. Third or fourth intern I had, I yelled at pretty good to get out of a chute. He was just kind of, he was too scared. And anyway, so there's times where like I'm stern, but like, I don't know. I try to, but I mean it, you know, like I'll sometimes like, it's good to give somebody something to work on, and then it's good to give somebody something they did right. You know, like you don't want to just completely tear somebody apart all the time. You know, so like, hey, you did this good, and then work on this. If you listen to me, like after I talk to people, typically that's what I'm going to do. You did this right, work on this. And I think that's what we should do as competitors each time we're in the arena. Like, okay, I did this, and this right, but I need to work on this. Because we're being rodeo cowboys, like we don't have a coach, we don't have assistant coaches, we don't have trainers, we don't have the cheerleaders. We don't have anybody telling us we're great, you know, and usually we are the hardest on ourselves. And you can literally make a 90-point ride and find something you need to work on. With that being said, you can go down a road where you're picking yourself apart and all of a sudden you're deteriorating your own confidence. Flip side of that coin is you can talk yourself up when you're really not that good. So you got to find some middle ground there where you give yourself something to work on, but then you also build on something, you know. Well, it was a really great mark out, so I'm going to build on that. Well, I need to you know, lift and stay back and set my feet harder next time. I don't know, whatever it is, you know. So,
yeah.
Anyways.
Because it's serious. I mean, like, this isn't like, I mean, tennis is awesome, and I'm sure you were a really good tennis player, but yeah, it's like, it's dangerous.
Yeah. Well, a lot of these sports are pretty similar in that once you get to a physical level, you know, where you can get across the tennis court or you can get out over a bull, once you get to that, the part where you're not like way overweight or way out of shape or etc., then it really comes down to a mental game. You know, whether you're talking about tennis, golf, or bull riding, if you can control your emotions and then execute the fundamentals mentally and physically, then, you know, which comes back to the mental game. Anyway, so in that aspect, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about tennis or right.
Yeah, it's all mental, because like that little dawn ride, I was off the bull in the chute. I should have restarted and got my marbles back together. Like how I was saying, I'm gonna just take them however, and you were like, no, take them how you want them.
Yeah,
I should have restarted.
Yeah,
I was already off in the chute, and I fought it out. I fought the first two jumps out, but mentally I wasn't. I'm gonna ride the sucker.
Right. Well, and there's moments like it's one thing if somebody's stalling because they're nervous or trying to get that bull, like soaking the bull or trying to catch a knot. But it's another thing if like, no, you've been hustling and you just, I've hustled. You can hustle yourself out of a good ride. You know, like it's great to keep the show going, but also like if you need a moment to get something right, then get it right. You know, you can tell the difference. You can watch and you can tell the difference when somebody's like dragging their feet because they don't want to do it or they're nervous or whatever the reason is, as opposed to someone who's just like, they need to get it right. What gets me is like the NFR. Like when a horse isn't standing good or a bull's not standing good, like man, this might be this guy's only chance.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you don't want to treat that rodeo as if it's anything different because you don't want to change your shoot procedure. But sometimes I'm like, man, that's a tough position because you've got everyone pressuring you to go. I don't see how you wouldn't be rushed. The crowd's waiting. The announcer's waiting. The music is about at its climax. The judges are waiting. The shoot boss is yelling. The next guy's ready to ride. But this isn't right. Like that right there is that's a tough situation.
Don't you get a fine too if you're like late?
Oh yeah, definitely. They can fine you. They can turn you out. You can get DQ'd. There's all kinds of little things that typically that won't happen. Like if, but anyway.
Did you try any other events in rodeo or just bull riding?
No, just bull riding.
Yeah.
So
what were we gonna say?
I was just gonna talk about Ryder taking that one laying down, but that's a little kind of a bad example because he's ice cold anyways. I don't know that it really mattered to him. It was 2 years. It wasn't this year. It was last year.
And then what happened?
He rode the snot out of him and freaking, which is also a bad example.
Right. Well, so what he's saying,
I think he might even won the round.
He didn't have his everything straight on this bull, and in his mind he knew he didn't.
Yeah.
And it created doubt. And you nodded your head with doubt. Yeah. The difference in Ryder is like he was thinking, I don't give a if you're laying on your belly, I don't care who you are. When you come out of here, I'm gonna mark you out and I'm gonna ride.
Yeah.
So I think the difference, it is a good example because the difference is that mind frame, and his mind was right. He felt because they got to stand up.
Yep.
There's certain ways where a horse might be laying down where they're not going to roll over. Most of the time, it's bulls laying down that guys have a hard time taking. But man, I wish it was like the 8th round. J.W. Harris, who has since retired, he took a bull laying down at the NFR and rode him to 7.5 seconds. I mean, you ride a bull at the NFR for 7.5 seconds, like it wasn't the start that bucked you off. You know what I mean? I wish for the story's sake he would have. There was some bull, too, I want to say that Ty Murray took laying down back in the day that was like an important moment.
Yeah.
I can't remember the story, but I think Ty Murray took one laying down. But there's spots where they might be like leaning on the gate in a certain way or like the way they're crouching, like where you may not take them laying down. But there's other times where it don't matter and you can nod your face. I love to take bulls laying down. I loved it. But Cody Demos took one laying down at the NFR.
This year?
No, a while back. It's been a while. He'll do it too. He's unique. He's a lot like he's kind of like Ryder in that sense. Like, I'm gonna ride you no matter what. Most of the time, guys will tell you to get up off of them.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at. I'll take them down if the stock contractor lets me.
Bulls, normally they don't care. The reason why they do that with horses is because of the flank.
Oh, okay.
Like a bull, the flank is if he's already got the flank set, like, okay, whatever, he's got to stand up anyways, might as well stand up and go. But a horse, it's hard for the flank man to get the flank if he's like laying down. But somebody like in Ryder's situation,
he was kind of just down on his front end.
Right, yeah. Which still guys most often won't do. But if the flank man can still flank him, then that's why there's a big difference. So, but yep, 2022. You got any New Year's resolutions?
No, just long-term goals. Just make the NFR next year, I guess.
Next year,
or
2023.
At least make it real. Like, ride hard this year, to where next year someone's like, you need to be pushing for the NFR.
Yep.
That's where I want to be.
Yep. That's good. Yeah. I heard Chance Smart, he was a bull rider, NFR bull rider. He was like really worried he wasn't going to make the NFR, and somebody, I think it was Matt Austin, asked him, he was like, well, if you don't make it this year, what are you going to do? Try to make it next year. Oh, okay. Well, if you don't make it next year, what are you going to do? Try to make it the next year. Oh, okay. But he was just like, because he was so worried about it. He was like worried, like.
You do it because you like to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean.
What are you going to do if you don't make it? try to make it next year. You know, like it was such a simple answer, you know, and it's just like, because it was late. This is like, you know, September in, you know, October kind of timeline. Anyway, did it catch you off guard when Donnell Brown at the R.A. Brown asked about the 5-year plan? Or were you pretty?
It caught me off guard because everything switched since I came here. Like I had my plan in Georgia where I had like a life set and it was very monotonous and I was chipping away at that. Now that I came here, I kind of just, now it's all about me, you know. It's bull riding. How can I help Dale? How can I better myself within the company, whether it be media or corporate? You know, so everything kind of switched up and I'm gathering all my eggs right now.
Yep. You feel focused?
I feel really focused.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling. Yeah. You've got a vision. Man of vision, you say. Hell of a vision.
So you didn't imagine yourself in somewhere like here, like a year ago, before you got the internship, or?
No, I didn't.
I don't know how you would be able to even imagine that.
That's true.
It's a completely different world.
Yeah.
Georgia's way the heck over there.
Yeah.
The people yesterday drove here to the warehouse from Georgia to meet Dale Brisby. Didn't even send an email to find out if I was going to be here.
I was like, he might be here later, but
Thankfully, I showed up.
yeah.
Drove 16 hours to this warehouse. Yeah, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, then Georgia.
Well, you
Went
got a
through
bed in the back.
all those states to get here. Yeah, but that's where you are. This is a whole nother world. Might as well be a different country.
It is a different country.
Yeah,
It's totally different.
yeah.
The ground's different. The trees are different.
Soap wash off you different.
I don't know.
Oh, real talk. There's like the harder or softer water.
Waters are different.
Yeah,
the
and like
water's
there's
different here than it is back home. For
yeah,
sure.
water can be different, and it's just like, gosh dang, it takes forever to get the soap off.
I haven't noticed that.
Anyways,
I like hard water personally.
So not here? Or back home?
It's a little softer here, or at least it is at my house. I don't know.
yeah. What about you? Did the 5-year plan catch you off guard?
I've never really been one. I've always hated that question.
Yeah,
Like that was like one of my biggest fears about graduating college was going to an interview and getting asked that question. I don't know why, but like, I mean, you have dreams and aspirations, I guess, but like a set 5-year plan. I don't know. I've never been one to have that. I kind of just do my thing.
Yep. Yeah. So I talked to somebody. I think TCU has gone to the R.A. Brown Ranch for their field trips.
Yeah.
And somebody went there like years ago, maybe 20. I can't remember when this person went through the program at TCU, but they said they went to the R.A. Brown Ranch, and Donnell did the same thing.
Yeah.
He asked everybody, he said, tell me your name, where you're from, and your 5-year plan. And then remembered everyone's name, but asked the same question.
Yeah.
So I thought that was neat, just to find that out, because it didn't seem like something that was spontaneous. You could tell that he had hosted a group and taught some young people before. Very good at it. What about you, Blythe?
I remember you asking me that question when I went up to you about the internship, and I was like, I would say it's all up to the Lord, but like those people are like, oh, just give it to God. Like, I mean, I could say that and just do nothing for like 5 years. But I mean, right now I see like getting finished with college. Then I like rodeo a lot. So I want to do something with that. And like media. I love editing videos. I just told them when we went to R.A. Brown Ranch, I was like, I just like editing videos and like filming them and stuff. So definitely something with that.
Yep.
It's like, I don't know, everybody needs somebody like that, so that can just...
You're also in charge of the JBDB Buck and Bull page.
Yeah.
Do we have any raw footage of us with JB?
I'm sure.
We need to you need some of that to make some stuff for that page.
Most people don't know I'm running it. They think it's you or JB.
Right.
Like,
you sent me some screenshots of like the important stuff.
I was like, this person wants to.
All contacts are important. I did not mean that.
Yeah.
Not that any 14-year-old kid that DMs me, 33-year-old single mom, like, or dad, whatever.
Contacts she doesn't have the answer to.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like someone asked a very specific question about a bull for sale.
Yep.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember, and it's something that I kind of like to ask most people.
Yeah.
Because some people just, for instance, this guy sent in an awesome. I can't even remember his name, but he sent in an awesome video, and he was a little bit more of a hipster, which is cool. I got friends that are hipsters, but he wasn't like he didn't grow up ranching, and he was, dang, I can't remember what his name was. It was the night before I went and had surgery in November.
Oh, yes.
But I liked this guy. He sent in an intern video.
I feel like his name was Dylan.
Maybe, yes. So, but he was coming here to be an intern.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, if you'd like to be an employee, I upped the stakes immediately. I was like, let me do you one better. Can I hire you? And then you still, and I came out of the deal, and Lisa was like, came out of surgery, and Lisa was like, yeah, he said he was going to take another job. I was like, what the hell did you apply for this? You applied to work somewhere for free. You then, not only are you accepted, but I offer you a job to pay you immediately, and you turn it down. I was like, what sort of trickery is this?
Just deceive.
I'm a little confused by your tactics. But he had a girlfriend in like Colorado Springs or something, and so he took a job at a luxury apartment in Denver.
You couldn't be more opposite.
Right. Hence the where do you want to be in 5 years? You know what I'm saying? Because if the answer is I want to run luxury apartments in Denver, this may not be the best fit for you. You know what I'm saying? Like Winnebago life is a little different than that Denver life. You know, like you kind of got to want to be here to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
You gotta have a reason. And I did have a conversation with one of the interns recently that we were talking about it, and he said, I mean, you got to live somewhere. You know what I mean? I had that talk with somebody a while back that worked for us, and they didn't know what they wanted to do. And they're just kind of floating around. They were, you know, driving a lot back and forth. And I was like, well, you got to live somewhere, you know? So, but anyway, you need to go somewhere where, shoot, this is freaking America. You might as well go somewhere where you can, you know, do what you love to do.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, so he asked me my 5-year goal, and it was if I get to do exactly what I'm doing right now. If my 2027 looks like 2022, now I want progression in a lot of ways.
Naturally. Yeah.
But if my day-to-day is the same, that's a win. Bingo. Yep. I'm there. That's everything I'm working towards is to continue doing what I'm doing. That's what I'm working towards.
I feel that. Like if I could be riding broncs professionally and like going.
Yeah.
And just do this when I'm not going.
Yep.
Like,
that's a win.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a win. What so we kind of we skipped to the 5-year plan because we had been talking about that recently on the field trip. But what's your New Year's resolution?
Man, I just want to grind. Like I kind of got lazy second half of the year.
Yeah.
Just wasn't doing it. I need to get back on that.
Yeah.
And just be grinding.
New Year's resolution, Blythe?
Well, the gyms are going to be super packed. I'm not ready for that. But I want to learn, like, so I've been getting on Boone somewhat, but I want to, like, get on him consistently and then, like, go up to, like, horses that I haven't been on.
Bandito, Buckethead.
Yeah, just get good at that. And then we'll see. Because I want to learn more about, like, different rodeo events. Even though, like, I think all of them are, like, pretty cool. But, yeah, just get better, like, doing the things that I have been doing and just.
Yep. My New Year's resolution is, I haven't come up with a number yet, but I want to start a Bible study and do it in here in the mornings once a week.
With who?
Well, we did one in college, and it was kind of a men's group. But
You can have your men's group.
I was just
There'll be a
thinking
ladies group.
that might be kind of, I might have to, I haven't thought that far into it. I just assumed it was a men's group because
It could be.
that was the one I did in college.
I don't feel excluded. We can have our women's group. Zoom it with anybody who wants to.
I'll address that part of it later. But essentially what I was thinking was like, maybe like my goal would be to do 25 of them. 52 would be hard with the lifestyle we live.
Yeah.
There's a lot of even Tuesdays we're not here,
Yeah.
you know, but if it were like a Tuesday morning thing, that's kind of, and then obviously fitness. Once I found out I was going to have surgery on November 10th, my collarbone was just giving me trouble and I felt so weak. And so,
Because you're in here mornings. Like
yeah,
before your surgery, we were
and
here.
I like to be. Prior to my surgery though, like I felt so defeated and I didn't know why. And that was why I went and got it. What's it called? X-rayed.
Yeah.
And then found out that there was a lot of weakness in that right side because it was a non-union. Anyways, whatever. So it was pretty much like sometime in September till now, I have done nothing physical fitness wise. Obviously because of November 10th, but I should have kept going in October more. But like I just was defeated. I was like, man, I'm gonna have surgery. I'm gonna have to take 8 weeks off. And so I thought about doing the same thing Will Smith was doing. And have y'all follow Will Smith?
Yeah, his like
fitness journey.
Yeah.
How I think it was what movie was that?
It was
The one with the Serena and Venus Williams, their dad, King Richard.
Mm-hmm.
He did that King Richard movie, and it required him to gain a lot of weight, and he said it was the worst shape he had been in, and he took that picture where he's got his hand like this and his belly's out, and so like that, and he posted it on Instagram, and that was the start of his fitness journey, and so I think it's on YouTube. I think
YouTube did it.
They did there's like a bunch of 30-minute episodes of him going through his fitness journey. And he like goes all over the world like working out. Kind of like Rocky style. Like he'll go do like all kinds of workouts like in the snow and do like swimming and stuff.
And then he writes a book.
Yep. And then he wrote a book and it was all to promote his book. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super unique. But essentially he said the accountability of doing that online. But man, I just don't want to post about that kind of thing.
No, me neither. Yeah, I'm the same way. After that horse flipped over on me, though, I was like the same way. I'd stopped working out because my chest would hurt so bad when I'd go do anything. But I was still getting on bucking horses, so like it didn't really make sense.
Does it still hurt?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, I'm still there.
Have you had it x-rayed?
No. I'm kind of scared too. Hope there's honestly.
Why? Why are you scared?
I don't know. I just don't want there to be something really wrong with it.
Yeah.
But I don't think there is.
You know what? There's the reason why there's a lot of power in knowing that there's nothing wrong with it though.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can be like real hesitant, like there's bliss in ignorance.
Yeah.
And it's like, but when you know there's nothing wrong with it, because sometimes you can think, I find this in rodeo, and I don't believe that I'm a hypochondriac by any means, but sometimes I'll get the x-ray. For instance, with my collarbone, I felt like something was wrong, and when I would push on it, it would move, and I felt like that was weird. I felt like I was weaker. Chin-ups. I love chin-ups, and I couldn't do them. It's like I'm not going to go get an x-ray because I'm a hypochondriac, but if I go there and they're like, nope, collarbone is completely strong and you're healthy. Okay, well then I know, all right, well just toughen up, you little sissy. But he's like, no, this is non-union and you've got 25% less strength on that side and you need to have surgery. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well then let's have surgery. If you're getting progressively better, I doubt that's the case with you. But it might make you feel good to know. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's been other times where I get this or that x-rayed where I know something's wrong. And then they're like, nope, nothing's wrong. And you're like, all right. Well, then I just got to toughen through it. I learned that in high school. It was one of our linemen hyperextended his elbow. And the trainer was just like, it's fine. And you can go forward. There will be pain.
Yeah.
But if you can muscle through the pain, you're healthy to compete.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he knew. It was just like, all right, I'm going to go. We're going to go, I'm going to play. But it's just going to be pain rather than an injury.
Yeah.
My old man taught me that. Not that I learned it, but the very first steer we got on, like when me and Leroy were kids, like we were in the arena, and he was like, there's a difference in pain and being hurt. Like there's a difference in pain and an injury. You know what I'm saying? Like you get kicked in the shin, all right, that's painful, but that's not an injury.
Mm-hmm.
You blow out your ACL, MCL, and you need your knee, that's an injury.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like being sore the next day. It's like you're just sore. It's like
That's
you can do
pain.
a workout and it's like
Or get on a bronc.
yeah.
You know, so like that's what a guy needs to, and that's the cool thing about doctors is they can tell you, hey, this is an injury, or no, they can say, yeah, it's just pain. Take an ibuprofen and get your ass back out there. But it does hold you back. There's no telling. I don't know what it is. I'm not trying to tell you which one it is. Huh? But
also, like, I don't feel like there's any, like, I don't know. Anyways.
You don't feel like there's any what?
Like, you break your clavicle, or not your clavicle, your sternum. I don't know that there's much they do for it besides just let it, like, take time off. And
how long ago was that?
August. Like, getting on bucking horses is fine, you know, because it's like, put it out of your mind.
What does make it hurt?
Like doing any kind of chest workout or like, I mean, lifting on a bronc rein doesn't feel good, but
dang.
Yeah.
Like if you step on it,
yeah,
step on the bronc rein and you're picking up on it, that might mean that it's going to inhibit your lifter on the horse.
That's what I'm saying.
But with the adrenaline and the chaos going on, you don't notice it.
Yeah.
I think that's what was happening to my collarbone.
Yeah.
Yep. So New Year's resolution for me, something fitness related, but more importantly, the Bible studies. I think 26. That would be half the year. That's a tough goal.
Yeah.
26 sounds stout. That's twice a month. Huh. But okay, I'm going to do this. Well, no, because I don't want to put pressure on the whole group. I was going to say maybe allow ourselves to double up. Do 2 a week. But it's my goal. It's not everybody else's goal. But I better get started. Here in a couple of days, it's going to be week 1.
Crazy. Yeah.
So, life advice?
Oh.
You didn't ask him his resolution.
Oh. No, I started with him. It's been a long time. We've been talking about this for like 20 minutes. He was talking about the NFR.
NFR, yeah.
Life advice. Take a chance.
I had take a chance. That's
Yeah.
not the end of it, though.
Columbus did.
Take a chance. Columbus did. What's your life advice, Blythe?
Somebody I was listening to a podcast that somebody was talking about is like, if you're comparison is like, you compare yourself to somebody else, like you're always gonna people are just different. You have different strengths, different weaknesses, but strive to be like Jesus. Compare yourself to Jesus, always. So that was cool. It's like, why would you compare yourself to another human? We're not perfect. We're not meant. We're supposed to strive to be perfect, but we're never gonna make it. So strive to be like Jesus every day. So yep, that's my life advice.
That's a great point. A buddy or pastor or somebody kind of made that point to me. He was talking about, as far as dunking a basketball, LeBron James is way better than me.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a 10-foot goal.
Yeah.
If the goal is on the top of the Empire State Building, we're pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of differences between me and you, but the standard is Jesus. Yeah. So it's way up there. So that makes us pretty similar,
yeah.
you know?
Uh-huh.
I heard this quote in a sermon the other day. My man Brian Fisher down at Grace, the Anderson campus in College Station. There are 2 great days in a person's life: the day we are born and the day we discover why. William Barclay. He was talking about in relation to, he was pretty much saying, because we're here to help grow the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyways, that was a pretty interesting quote from me.
That's cool.
What you got? Life advice?
I guess something that's always shaped my life. My mom's always told me, and it was one of the first things she would tell me when she was learning English. She would just tell me open mind. Obviously, she meant keep an open mind. She would just throw out open mind right before I got on the bus, right?
That's how it came out.
Yeah, it just came out like open mind, and that led to self-awareness, confidence, the way you behave yourself around other people, because you always had an open mind. And I guess that open mind.
This joker, she said the words open mind, and this joker took it, and that's his life advice. Dude, you are a deep thinker, and I love it. Your mom said to you open mind. Did she also explain to you in Spanish like what she meant also, I guess?
No, it was just
no
open mind, Carlos.
Dang.
Like that.
I love that.
And then I would get on the bus.
You grew that to this thing where now, years later on a podcast,
Yeah.
you're talking about how it has shaped your life. That is wild.
That's awesome.
Your mom
though.
pretty influential in your life then.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm sure she was an example of it too.
Oh yeah, she's strong woman. I got to see her become strong. She was a young mom.
Uh-huh.
So I got to see the mistakes, and I got to see what it looks like to cry without being seen, like how to handle defeat on your own, that kind of stuff.
I don't feel like we've asked you enough questions on this podcast.
Carlos is the open book.
I feel like I've been talking too much with this guy on here. What else did she teach you?
With respect, you've seen that.
Yeah, we talked about that. That's why he said that. He's not just like bragging about his respect, but we talked about him being respectful. That was something like right on. Your first video, like, to be honest, like first couple of sentences you said, like I could just like feel like a sense of respect, in the way you talk. And you might have been midway through the video, and I was thinking like, this guy's probably going to come down here, or I'm going to at least probably invite him. So anyways, continue.
I don't know. I was raised to not be reserved, but also not show my IQ. Like, I know I'm smart, but I'm also not gonna showboat my vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I'm hiding anything, but I don't want to be arrogant.
You bet.
That doesn't mean I'm gonna play dumb, right? I'm gonna speak at a level that's comfortable, right?
Yep.
She taught me to do that. I don't know. There's just like an infinite thing.
Yeah.
Like, what would you want me to pick out?
No, it sounds like you've got a pretty neat upbringing. Like your mom who, like went through some challenges, and then she's taught you these things. I mean, like, how old were you when she learned English? Is she fluent now?
She's fluent now.
Yeah. So like that alone is like, I mean, like you got to watch your mom, like,
yeah,
that just sounds cool. And then obviously you're a respectful young man. You're pursuing your dream. Like, you left home to come ride bulls, and you're good at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just sounds like you got a solid foundation under you.
Right.
And she's the reason.
Me, it's different learning how to be a man through a man, but it's something else when a woman teaches you to be a man. Like, I've seen where single moms go about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work. And I'm not saying my mom has the formula, but whatever she did taught me to be a young man, a man, and, you know, now the man that I am now. Like, I went through these stages where I feel like every man goes through, where they're a young man and they're confident and they can do whatever, right? And then they go through this maybe dad phase where they're just mad and they're angry, you know? And then they become grandfathers where every man should be, where they're forgiving and life goes on, you know? And I feel like that's where she got me to. And I'm very patient now because of that, you know?
Is it just me, or do I feel like we're in the early stages of writing a movie about Carlos?
I know.
Am I way off? Am I the only
you're
one?
not way off.
I feel like we could ask the crowd. Like, if this were alive, like, I'd be like, I don't know, Carlos, the story of the whatever. I don't know. Like, and then your mom is just this integral part in this. I could see it now. Just you don't even have to give me a cut. Just kind of send me a copy. Give me like whatever streaming platform it's on. Give me like your login to watch it if I don't already have a subscription. You know what I'm saying? So, or let me play me.
Yeah, you can play.
Okay. Yeah, let me play me. That's fair. That's a fair deal to make. Yes, we can make this movie, but when we get to the part where we talk about Dale Brisby has to play Dale Brisby.
Yes,
Deal?
sir. Deal.
Okay, cool.
You don't want to be like on the sidelines, like watching yourself, like be played out, or you want to play yourself?
No, I want to play myself.
Well,
Yeah.
only one and only can do it well.
That's what I know. I'm the best at being me, Blythe. That's my life advice. Okay. You're the best at being you.
I like it.
I don't know. Some people might disagree, that have had movies played about themselves. No, Brad Pitt did a pretty good job. Cool. Well, we're on to the next one. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We've had a great time. I'm just really enjoyed Carlos and Blythe and I guess Donnie. 2022 is upon us. We're actually recording this on the 30th. So when you're listening, it'll probably be it'll probably be January because these podcasts take time to edit. But we love doing them. So thanks for listening to our conversations. And if you are interested in getting notified when these pop up, text the word podcast to 940-353-0890. Love you so much. On to the next one. How about